Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing a little bit of Historic Best of 1, since Standard's kind of a dead format prior to new set releases, as well as most decks end up being dead formats in today's video format, because of course, if I ever build a deck that takes Strixhaven cards immediately, I just invalidate my deck. So, today we're going to be playing a deck that absolutely takes no cards from Strixhaven, and therefore stands the test of time. We're going to be playing some Boros Tempered Steel today. It is a weird aggro deck, one that I would imagine is more of a meme than anything else, because you don't see it too often, and it's also kind of heavily reliant on drawing a certain few cards, and we're going to get to those shortly. But Tempered Steel is basically built around the namesake card. The 3 mana enchantment gives artifact creatures you control +2/+2. So what this essentially does for us is make our puny little creatures, our 0-drops in Ornithopter, and our 1-drops in Bomat Courier, Gingerbrew, Hope of Girapa, Sparring Construct, and X cards in Stonecoil Serpent, makes those tiny creatures pretty large. So 1 mana 3/3s, 0 mana 2/4s. You kind of get the idea. So, we also have Servo Exhibition in here as well. So that would be 4 power over 2 mana, for example. No, sorry, 6 power over 2 mana. So it basically makes all of your small creatures really awesome. You do have to draw it, of course, which makes it a meme, because you're going to have to mull probably quite aggressively to find either this or Steel Overseer, the other kind of stand-in Tempered Steel 2 mana artifact creature. It's a 1/1, but you can tap it to put a counter on each other artifact creature you control, so we can go as wide as possible with our board and then try and blow up the world. It's basically like a strange Lord effect in a nutshell, so that's what we're going to be trying to do. The new cards from the deck as well, we'll go into right quickly, is going to be Showdown of the Scalds, a 4 mana saga. It plays a lot of a part in aggro decks in Standard right now, I think. Maybe those decks have died off, I don't know. I haven't played Standard in a while, since, you know, with Strixhaven coming around, don't really feel like playing a format that's dead right now. So, you know, is what it is. Exile top 4 cards of your library, and then until your next turn, you may play those cards, basically saying maybe we're going to draw 4 and we can put 4 creatures into play. That's pretty cool. The chapter 2 and 3 says whenever you cast a spell this turn, you get to put a counter on target creature you control as well. So the cheap spells are going to be able to pump our little puny creatures and make them huge massive, or at least that's the goal. The final card that is from the Historic Anthology 4, should be noted that very little came from Historic Anthology 4, so, you know, we can't really exploit it too much, but Blinkmoth Nexus, a secret strict upgrade to the deck. It is a land, of course, and it also becomes a 1 mana 1/1 artifact creature with flying until the end of turn, and then future Blinkmoth Nexi as well can pump their other Nexi friends up and swing over. So it's a 1/1, but with Tempered Steel it is a 3/3 in the air, and it's sat in our land base as well, which gives us a pretty good game against control decks, as long as they don't find their Field of Ruins, for example. Board wipe proof and sorcery speed removal proof, pretty cool. Last time we did play this, we played it with Sram's Expertise. I believe we found this card to be pretty mediocre and kind of situationally good, and I don't think it's any different now. I should note that the form of the deck that you see it in right now is kind of not exactly fully optimized from my personal opinion. There's a few cards like Hope of Girapa. I kind of feel like this card is just better than Ornithopter, so you might want to try run this as a 3 or a 4 of, considering it is a legendary creature as well. Probably want to lean towards the 3 of side of things, so you don't legend rule yourself and things like that. But what this does is whenever you deal combat damage to a player, you can actually sacrifice the Hope of Girapa to stop your opponent from playing non-creature spells. That basically gives you a nice little protection from board wipes and removal spells, giving you maybe that extra attack that you need to get in and win the game. So yeah, maybe some Ornithopters down for some Hope of Girapas up. I don't know. Same thing for Showdown. I only have 3 copies, and I'm saving my wildcards for Strixhaven, so I'm going to run 3 and 2 of Sram's Expertise. You probably want to just cut this card out and see where you can put some stuff. Maybe another Hope over it, I don't know. But let's get into why I have this card in the deck, rather than, you know, just tell you why you should cut it. It's a 4-mana sorcery, puts 3 1/1 servo tokens onto the battlefield, so pretty underpowered by itself. However, it does allow you to cast a spell with converted mana cost 3 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So we can play a Tempered Steel off of the Sram's expertise, and then suddenly for 4 mana, what we're actually doing is we're playing a free Tempered Steel. We're also going to get 9 power of creatures for 4 mana. So the upside to this card is very good. Unfortunately, the flaw of it isn't all that great, as we've learned. But, you know, you can Sram's expertise into a Steel Overseer as well, and then when this loses its summoning sickness, then for 4 mana, you've played a 2-drop, and you've also got 6 power of things on board. So again, that's another nice little sequencing kind of situation, which is pretty decent. It's a cool card, it's just not that good. But yeah, anyway guys, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. I wouldn't necessarily recommend building this deck. From my experience, it seems a little bit memey. As I said, you kind of really need the Tempered Steel, otherwise this deck doesn't do a great deal. Tempered Steel or Overseer anyway. And I think it's maybe just not as fast as the historic metagame really allows for decks like this to exist, so yeah, if you do enjoy the content anyway, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment down below. All of that really helps out the channel a great deal. And yeah, let's continue onward, shall we? This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Okay, we're in, and this hand has lots of 1-drops, which is pretty nice, but it has just no way of pumping them into extreme power. And I think I've learnt my lesson about taking hands like this. I think it's a mistake, so I'm just going to mull. This one's got 2 Steel Overseers, so I think that's what we're looking for. It's either like Tempered Steel, Steel Overseer, or Sram's expertise into something I think you keep. Anything less than that, you probably just want to throw away. So I'm going to go down the Sparring Construct here. We're going to go Inspiring Vantage into Bomat Courier, and we're going to get Swinging. Next turn we'll do Steel Overseer. Maybe into Steel Overseer, it's hard to say. It's goblins, so we don't really expect to be interacted with too much, but we want to be as aggressive as possible. That does mean that I want to get a Steel Overseer in and happily trade with Skirt Prospector. It's whether or not I want to wait a turn more. Wow, okay. Whether I want to wait a turn more to get the other Steel Overseer into play. They had a spare, makes sense. That is very interesting. So what we can do is we can tap it, animate it, play Exhibition, and then pump the squad. This leaves a counter on the Blinkmoth Nexus, so we have an uninterruptible source of value here. Our opponent might just win next turn. We have no 4 mana for Showdown. So I think what I want to do is I want to play Servo Exhibition. Do the same trick with Blinkmoth. Tap it, activate it. Steal Overseer, and then swing for 6. If we're not dead, we've got a reasonable board. But this could be turn 3 Muxus. It is not. It's a Ringleader. Does not get Muxus either. 2 War Chiefs. Fantastic. Tempered Steel here seems really good. +2/+2 to my artifacts. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Cool. So that was... how much damage? 5, 10, 15, 18, 21 damage. So they can not block 2 of them, so they have to block with their entire board. That leaves them with 4 mana plus a token. If they had a land into Muxus, they still potentially win here, so I wouldn't scoop if I was them, but maybe they're not Muxus, maybe they have Honor. I don't know. But yeah, pretty good. Next game. Actually, we have a Blinkmoth Nexus as well, so they have to block everything, pretty much. Cool. Next game. Okay, we're in. We have a nice aggressive hand with a Tempered Steel, which is castable off of a 3rd land that we are going to need to draw, but that should be fine. Judging by my previous gameplay experiences of today. Let's go with a Bomat Courier, get that going, so we have a brand new hand later down the line. And let's see. More lands. Okay, more lands is fine. We did need that land, of course. So now we go Aspiring Construct, we go Ginger Brew, swing for 2, getting in with the Ornithopter to assert dominance, specifically. And then we hope our opponent kind of goes land and a tap out of some sort. Just not that kind of tap out. Alright, just let me have one of my other Tempered Steels. One of my opponents drew all 4 Village Rights earlier today, so I should be able to draw all 4 of my Tempered Steels. That's how that works. Land to the bottom. We draw garbage. Alright. Get in, get in, get in. We are at the very least refueling our hand as time goes on with the Bomat Courier, so this pathway that I could care less about can just become 3 other cards if we really want to, if our opponent goes for like a Cry of the Carnarium or something. Shocking in. Maybe an Anger of the Gods? A Narset. Okay. Bomat Courier is not card draw. And in fact, we do not draw cards. Thoughtseize is totally fine. Put this on red, I guess. Don't think it really matters. We're not going to care about Narset so much. We are probably just going to hit her for 1, though. I guess. Again, she doesn't really matter if she sticks around, so I guess I'm not. Do that, and then X3 the Stone Coil Serpent, so that we still have Bomat Courier on hand and a threat on board. Land Languish would suck. Opponent gets to go have a look-see to go find it. Tyrant Scorn. Not the worst, I suppose. Power 2 or less on a tap out here. So this allows them to hit my Bomat Courier and then Thoughtseize my best card. Power 2 or less, opponent. You can do it. Actually a terrible decision. Okay. There is hope for us yet. I don't understand that move in the slightest. So let's have 5 cards. They're all garbage. Oh, really? Really, game? Okay. Well, White Source. Swing for 4 at our opponent. They will be able to duress us and Thoughtseize us, so there's no point in having these cards in our hand. So if they have a board wipe, they have a board wipe. Good luck, have fun. Wow. We won that, but our opponent's luck had to be worse than ours, because there is no way I will ever call what happened there good running. It was just... Yeah, our opponent interrupted our hand several times, but our hand was garbage every time. But they had nothing else, so we won. That was just the least satisfying game of Magic in my entire life, I think. But here we are. Victory, I guess. Next game. Alrighty then, we're in, and it's a reasonable hand. We're going to keep it. We're on the play as well, so we can get nice and aggressive with this one. So we got the choice between Gingerbrute turn 1 into Expedition or Serpent Construct. It's hard to say which one's the better line, because they basically are the same thing. I guess I would go Exhibition, because if I draw a third land, I've basically got nothing to do with it. So I would want Stone Coil on 2, plus the Construct for 1. That'd be our turn 3 play. I think that's the line I would want. Don't know what our opponent's playing. Some mono black list with Midnight Reaper. You don't see that one too often. It's not a Lurrus list, so it's not the Archaeomancer list. Could be Aristocats, I guess. Yep, no block. Priest. Alright, we have lots of fodder, which is wonderful. So this is the turn that I was talking about. The one where we get to go Sparring Construct and X2 Stone Coil Serpent. Probably having it claimed off of a red source our opponent hasn't shown us yet. Into Priest sacks. If that were my guess. I guess it could also be Godfarer's Gift, right? So what's our best draw? Our best draw is, at this point, Tempered Steel. It is Godfarer's Gift, look at that. The more you know. That's far from our best draw, unfortunately. I'm just going to X3 Stone Coil here. And probably pass the turn. We just need a good draw. Just one good draw. From my testing today, they are few and far between. Okay, pass. We got just so much sack fodder that Priest is kind of garbage, but what they can do is they can play the Godfarer's Thingamajig, the 3-mana one. Sack with Priest of Forgotten Gods, that's double triggers, plus the extra mana. Gates of the Afterlife is the card I am thinking of. Alright, we're going to get rid of Sparring Construct. I'll put it on Stone Coil. It's a mono blacklist, but yeah, this puts us out of the way of nasty little board wipes like that. Garbage draw. Alright, I'm just going to leave. Alrighty then, we're in. We are on the play with a turn 1 Bomat Courier, turn 2 Overseer, on an Ornithopter as well. So yeah, we'll keep this one. Our opponent's name rings a bell. I have a sneaky suspicion that the last time I played against them I did not have fun. But I have been running extremely unfortunately recently with my top deck, so it could be that I didn't have fun because the game didn't let me have fun. We'll see. But their name does ring a bell, and it doesn't have a positive motion attached to it. Looks like Gruul. So we're going to go Steel Overseer. We're going to kind of hope that our opponent does not have access to Stomps. They probably do. But at least I suppose it keeps them off of my Bomat Courier, which is getting larger and larger. Next turn, we can go Courier, Serpent, activate Overseer. Looks like some stonks. If it is Gruul aggro, though, if they're stomping, then that does mean that they're not getting as aggressive with their turn. It's just going to be a Voltaic Brawler. We can punish that quite a fair bit. Protection from Multicolored is very good. So we're going to go X1 Stone Coil here. Allows us to block their Voltaic Brawler. Get to go Bomat Courier. Activate the Steel Overseer, and we're just swinging in with the squad. I don't really mind if they trade here, it's just extremely defensive and it won't get them very far. Maybe they're Pummeler. The last time I tried playing Pummeler it was garbage, so here's hoping that they're Pummeler. I was quite surprised actually. But Historic doesn't really have the pump spells for it. Pioneer does. It's got like a clan brawler or something like that, which is a creature that you can discard for pumping value. Yeah, just seeing them on the defense here is just fantastic. We're actually going to go Bomat Courier, activate Blink Moth. I could probably just click the activate button, but I'm a little afraid of the auto tapper, to be honest. Alright, so still just going to keep swinging. Like, they've got a profitable block, but we're going so wide around them that they can't really come back from this. And we've got a Blink Moth Nexus as a 2/2 flying in the air as well, which they have to have instant speed answers to, so no Domri's ambushes or anything like that. We're now out of stomp range with Steel Overseer as well. Sees a collected company, grabs an emissary, sure. Can they chain that into anything reasonable? No. And you lose. Okay. So now we activate Blink Moth. Give our opponent the good game. I wouldn't have gone under the assumption that this was a good game, but I'll let them decide. I always think that the person who lost should decide whether or not it was a good game. You know, because they're the ones who are most likely to have not had fun. Our opponent either just says it out of habit, or they actually enjoyed that. I wouldn't have, but is what it is, I suppose. So we had 6 flying in the air, so we already had them dead on board that way. They could only block Scavenging Ooze on the Stone Call Serpent, so they're taking 2 trample there. And then this is a free block, so yeah, pretty good. Okie dokie, we're in. Opponent goes first, they are Lurus. Why don't I get a commander? That's the real question. Why can't I have a commander? Alright, we're going to keep this one. It's got Steel Overseer. Usually you just want one lovely card that can pump you up and do some good stuff. So we're going to go Inspiring Vantage, Inspiring Construct here. It looks like they are the Black-White Auras list, which I hear is all the rage at the moment. I hear it's pretty overpowered. Which, as a person who likes auras, pleases me. Alright, well, let's find out whether or not they have all the Maya's Grasps and Dead Weights and whatnot in the world. They're automatically hovering my Overseer to find out whether it's worth killing. I would guess that means yes, they do. There's a 5/6. I refuse to block. They do not. Wow, okay. So, let's see. We want to get an extra Overseer out. We also want to go with an Ornithopter here. I think I want to pay some life. Nexus can activate itself. I think we'll go with Overseer. Activate the Nexus. Tap here. We'll block with an Ornithopter or a Sparring Construct. I haven't decided which one it's going to be yet. I think this is the only way I get back from the absurd amount of life gain our opponent has right now. Angelic Gift. Okay. Well, block with the thing I was secondary going to want to block with. Sram's Expertise. Okay, so put you on white. Expertise, create 3 servos. Play the servo exhibition. It all comes down to whether or not our opponent has already won. There's really nothing I can do except for play my best possible game, which I'd say we are doing right now. But we are dead next turn regardless, unless we top deck. I guess we could hold up and Blink Moth Nexus. It wasn't completely dead, but let's face it. It was probably completely dead. And then... oh, we got a 1! Okay. They're at 40. I have a Blink Moth Nexus to block with. They Thoughtseize. I do not care. Another Blink Moth. Oh, wow. Okay, so tap. Well, actually, we're not attacking, really, are we? So let's just pass. Opponent's going to go to combat. We are going to activate Blinkmoth. That will be our blocker. We're also going to activate the other Blinkmoth so we can pump it with Overseer. We're fighting a losing battle here, folks, but we're going to do it anyway. Alright, tap. Tap. Cool. Up to 47. Most of our opponent's removal's kind of bad against our board right now. So we got that going for us. We don't really have much going for us other than that, though. Admittedly. I think we still have to hold back and Blinkmoth for the best. Hope for the best. I'm just going to hold this Plains in hand as a thought-seizable target here. Okay. Opponent will have a Lurus. We haven't really given them a reason to put things in the graveyard just yet, mind you, but... Okay, so we are going to block. Go on a tap. Go on a tap. We're building a board. We have another blocker. We're almost like at the stage where we can attack through. Actually, we're at that stage, right? Because everything is a 9-9 or a 10-10. So we kind of attack with all but Overseers here. Oop. Oh. Calm down. We don't care about putting counters on Nexus, so we don't have to animate that or anything. Okay, so they get a free block on a 9-9. I do have to let this go as is, though, now that I think about it. Well, I guess not quite, but... leaving ground blockers just seems reasonable. I wasn't expecting them to block with Sram, honestly, but I guess they want to just do Lurus Sram for their turn. Which is fine by me. Blinkmoth. Okay. Up to 46. Play Lurus Sram. And we have to go for this whether we like it or not, so let's see what we can do. Bomat Courier. A hasty creature was the best thing we could have drawn. Alright, so right now they're at 46. Is it better to just all attack? Or do I want to pump around? I think it's just better to all attack, right? It's a lot of damage, but it's not enough, I'm pretty sure. Oh! Yeah, and then they gain life. Almost. Yeah, we weren't going to make up 12 points, so we're dead. We had a little bit of good luck there, but not good enough. I want to play our opponent's deck at some point. I like Aura's lists, so we're probably going to do that soon. So yeah, stay tuned for tier 1 nonsense net decks that nobody likes. Cool. Okay, opponent goes first. They appear to be a red deck. We have pretty explosive turn 1 hand and then a Tempered Steel in our future. So I'm going to keep this one. Hope for the best, really. Opponent goes land, Soul Scar Mage. Alright. So we have the advantage here of not playing anything relevant. So our opponent's burn spells just don't really matter. Your move, Kaiba. Question is, how much do we want to block? Because by blocking, we stop our opponent from having spectacle cards, which is irrelevant. But if I block with Sparring Construct, then the countered creature gets killed by any number of removal spells. I could force a removal spell out of our opponent, but again, we kind of get 2 for 1, so I think I'm just going to take it and let our opponent spectacle here. I'd much rather have them be too large off of a Tempered Steel. Land, good. Alright, we had to take that risk, I think. So what's our best draw? I think we just want to keep playing creatures, right? Get like a big Stone Coil Serpent or something. We just really need Tempered Steel to have value. And it sure as hell will have value with a Ginger Brute. Look at that. So we'll get him for 2 here, since we don't really plan on blocking like last time. And we want to kind of discourage our opponent from attacking our creatures with their burn spells, because the moment Tempered Steel drops, they're going to be impossible to remove, and decent blockers as well. So the less creatures that our opponent kills, the better. Like, if they get extremely aggressive here, we want them to get greedy off the prowess triggers. Then that's just good for us in the long run, I think. I think they're certainly considering it. I want you to hit me in the face. Do it. Longest decision in mono red history right here. It technically matters. Okay. They hit face, and then they're still holding up in 2 mana. Skewer my face. It's a lot of damage, don't get me wrong. Wow. Okay, an Incinerator was not the card I was expecting to see, if I'm being honest. But let's go Tempered Steel. This gives us... Well, it doesn't really give us a good block. As it turns out, because Incinerator, we get burnt in the face, then it burns creatures, so pretty much all their removal is also removal for creatures at the same time. Honestly, you never see this card, but it is now going to punish me like crazy. The real problem is that Soulscar Mage replaces combat damage, or non-combat damage, sorry, with -1/-1 counters, so we're in a bit of a weird spot where I think we actually have to just hold back completely and slowly watch our board get exploded. I need to attempt to kill the Incinerator, I think, so... Yeah, 3 to our face means 3 to a Ginger Brute, I'm guessing. And then we just insanely block the Incinerator if we can. Just everything in front of it. Our opponent knows better, I think, by the looks of it. Alright, so let's go Pathway on white. Make some Incinerator bait here, I guess. And get in for 3. Maybe even get in for a little bit more. Probably not that much. Let's get in for that much. I need to leave some options back, and a 2/4 leaves me with a body on board after a 3 damage burn spell to the face. I might just be dead to the burn to the face, though. And hasty creatures should be respected. We're hoping they're out of burn, essentially, though. Another Soulscar Mage. So we could get a greed turn from them where they don't really attack in. I will block Overseer and Construct, or Overseer and... Yeah, Overseer and Construct, and probably Ornithopter at the same time on Incinerator, to ensure that we absolutely kill it. Pillar of Flame, though. Gives a -2/-2 to... Guessing an Ornithopter? Aspiring Construct, okay. And then swings on in. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can block with the entire team on the Incinerator, taking 4. But at least our opponent's burn spells to the face don't kill the rest of us. They're tapped out here, so... We just traded tiny creatures for slightly larger creatures. Stone Coil. So I could do that X2. Let me make sure it taps the proper stuff, because I might need the Blinkmoth Nexus. X2, please. Makes a 4/4. I'm not dead to... Well, I'm dead to a 3 damage burn spell off the top. And they're not dead right now. I think I can afford to get in with a Blinkmoth attack, right? Assuming they draw a land they can't attack, I probably win then. If they remove one creature and they don't hit me in the face, I only take 2 and go to 1. I'll play this just in case I get, like, Sram's expertise. I don't even know if I'd play it, though. Honestly, but... maybe I'll have to play something, and then I'll have the mana left open for Blinkmoth Nexus as well. So I have Lethal in the air, and they passed. So now we just all attack, I think. Yep. 3, 6, 8. Lethal in the air, plus the trample, so they have to take care of... assuming that they remove one of our creatures here, so they'd have to get rid of the Blinkmoth Nexus with a burn spell, essentially. Again, if they had it, they would probably want to put it at face, but... I'm not sure of a 3 damage burn spell they'd be running that doesn't hit me directly in the face, but let's assume... Devil's Advocate, that's what they actually had. They had to hit the Blinkmoth Nexus so that these weren't lethal in the air, but because we were attacking with the Stone Coil Serpent, and that covers the death of Blinkmoth here, they actually have to block that and lose some creatures as well, but I think they can actually... they can block just about enough to still potentially top deck into lethal again, though. But, yeah, looks like they probably just drew a land and scooped them on up. Pretty good, pretty good. How is it that Mono Red versus Tempered Steel was probably one of the longest matches of today? Crazy, right? Okay, we're on the play, and this hand looks good. We've got lots and lots of 1-drops. We can actually go 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. Just really don't Thoughtseize me, I think, is the ideal scenario here. I would just love to one day resolve a Tempered Steel without it being a top deck because I got Thoughtseized. Let's go with... I guess Ginger Brew. Let's get aggressive. Pass the turn. If I draw another 1-drop, then I will play 1-drop, 1-drop, because then obviously that spreads the damage around with the Tempered Steel here. Our opponent is on Gruul. We did not draw the 1-drop. So let's go Spire of Industry. We're going to try and trade with the Llanowar Elves, because honestly, like, I don't really want them having 3-drops next turn. If I can help it. Which I can't. And we're going to go 1-drop here. So we're swinging for 9 next turn, which is pretty reasonable, and anything our opponent can play on 3 here is most likely going to be bad blocking it. So like if they had Gruul Spellbreaker, for example, Pelt Collector and Burning Tree pumps the Pelt Collector. They could also just, like, yeah, draw perfectly. That could also work, I suppose. Alright, Tempered Steel, please. Why think when you can smork? That's how I think about this. Get in, trade off if we can. Totally fine with it. Voltaic Brawler and Burning Tree Emissary can't block Stone Coil, so there is that. Our opponent is at 6. Can they threaten me with lethal here? Because if they get too aggressive with their attacks and I get this Bomat Courier to come in and connect, might be in a good spot. We'll take Brawler. Obviously, I think our best draw is more pump spells. Though I'm not sure how effective it would end up being, because we can get him for a fair bit here. We can get him for 3 unblockable, right? Nothing has haste. So I could use these to hold back and save my life a little bit here. Play Inspiring Vantage tapped. If we need to pay the 2, we can. Whereas we can't do anything with the Vantage otherwise. So actually, I think we just... well, we get rid of a Pelt Collector. So, Stonecoil Serpent has protection from Voltaic Brawler and Burning Tree, so this is a forced block here, if I attack in with it. So that's okay, we hit them for 4, and then we threaten lethal next turn. We do anyway, though, with the Ginger Brute. So I kind of feel like maybe I should just hold back the Stonecoil Serpent here. I don't really see them gaining life. I guess what they could do is they could trade a creature off or something like that, and then they have Scavenging Ooze to gain a little bit of life. It's really the only way I see this going. They don't have Embercleave mana, so... yeah, this just kind of looks like a swing for defeat here. I will block... you, and I will block you. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's fine. Go to 4. Pelt Collectors are tapped and getting pumped, but that's fine. And yeah, we got a lethal force on the way back. Sweet. Alright. Well, that is gonna do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's deck. It's, my verdict on this one is it's a bit of a meme. It desperately needs Tempered Steel or, a unsummoning sick, Servo Lord dude in order to stand a chance. So you kind of have to aggressively mull to that, I guess, and it's a little bit like Tybalt's Trickery, like you'll maybe even mull yourself into oblivion looking for it. But yeah, when it gets his Tempered Steel, it's pretty fun swinging in with really high-powered 1-drops. I'm kind of into it in that regard. But it is certainly not as good as it used to be. There was a point where I would use this to grind my dailies, and I would not dare do that anymore. It's so far out of New Historics League that it's kind of laughable in that sense. But, you know, it's still a deck archetype that is held quite near and dear to my heart, so yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video anyway. If you did, I would really appreciate if you do hit that like button and subscribe. Leave a comment down below to feed the hungry algorithm, and hopefully you get some points for that. And yeah, take care guys, have a wonderful night.